What's going on, everybody? My name's Miller, and this is actually going to be one of two uploads today. A Topps 2021 pack opening is going to go live tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. I already made that video. It's already scheduled to go up, but then these terrible predictions came out from MLB, and if you haven't seen them, you probably have. I'm going to go over my top 5 issues with these standings. I mean, they're just kind of a mess, if I'm being honest. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. As always, leave a like down below. Let me know you guys want to see more MLB content. Comment down below what your biggest problem with the predictions was. And to hit that subscribe button, I'm giving away a free jersey and free copy of MLB The Show 21 when I hit 100 subscribers. So hit that button to enter the giveaway. And last but not least, I started a podcast called the Diamond in the Rough Podcast. Those links are going to be in the description below. We've had some amazing guests so far. We've got even more coming on the way, so I'm excited about that. So now let's get into the predictions. Now, I'm just going to go over my top 5 biggest issues with this, like I said. And number 1, right off the rip, they have the Atlanta Braves finishing in 4th place in this division at 82 and 80. And I just want to say, if your algorithm tells you that the Braves are going to get 4th and barely finish above 500, scrap the algorithm. What are we doing? What are we doing, MLB? I'm ranting. This is insane to me. They have a nasty rotation. Mike Soroka's coming back. Max Fried was a stud in the playoffs. So was Ian Anderson. They have Kyle Wright on the way. Bryce Wilson's the top prospect. They added Charlie Morton. That is a top rotation in baseball behind like the Dodgers in baseball. Now, maybe you don't think that maybe Ian Anderson's not as good as he was, or maybe Mike Soroka doesn't come back healthy. But either way, they still have a really good bullpen. They have Tyler Matzik, Chris Martin, Will Smith, Luke Jackson. So they have some good guys in the bullpen still. So, I mean, I know they lost Darren O'Day, they lost Shane Green, but they still have a good bullpen. Will Smith's one of the best lefties in the game. In their lineup, maybe Marcell Ozuna's not going to be as good as he was. Maybe Travis d'Arnaud's not going to be as good as he was. But there's no reason to think that Freddie Freeman won't be. He had an amazing year. He won the MVP. Acuna's going to get better. He seems to get better every year. He's a stud. Ozzie Albies was injured and not great last year. I think it's reasonable to expect him to get better. Dansby Swanson has gotten better in every single year of his career. Maybe we get a guy like Austin Riley to bounce back or finally figure things out at the big league level. Christian Pache is still coming up, and they can still add a piece if they want to. They could go out and sign a guy like Justin Turner. So what the are we doing? What are we doing, MLB? I just don't understand. I know the National League East is a really good division. I know that. And I know how good the Nationals are, and the Phillies are, and the Mets are. And I'm going to get into the Mets in a little bit. But, like, they were one game away from the World Series last year. And they're not any worse than they were last year. They might even be better. Because they're going to get some of their pitching back. And they're going to get Ozzie Albies back. For a full, healthy season, hopefully. Come on, dude. What? I don't understand it all. My second problem with this, again, another young, exciting team, the White Sox. Behind the Indians, look, I know the Indians make pitchers like it's their second job. It's easy for them. It makes no sense. The Indians make pitching like the Yankees make offense. It makes no sense. They're so good at it. But their offense isn't great. And I know how good their rotation is. But how can you sit here and tell me that the White Sox aren't better than the Indians? The White Sox, they have the reigning AL MVP in Jose Abreu. There's no reason to think he's going to regress. Hopefully, Yohan Moncada can bounce back a little bit in 2021. They still have Luis Robert. Hopefully, he can be a little bit more consistent. There's no reason to think he's not going to be. He's a top prospect for a reason. Eloy Jimenez is still there. They added Adam Eaton for a little bit more stability. They added Lance Lynn, who in the last 2 seasons has had an ERA plus of almost 140 combined. And they added the best reliever in baseball in the last 2 years. Liam Hendricks has had a 2.36 combined ERA plus in the last 2 years. He's been the best reliever in baseball for 2 years in a row. His Ks per 9 is 13.1. That is elite. And they already had a good bullpen with Aaron Bummer and Garrett Crochet and Jimmy Cordero and Matt Foster and Cody Hoyer. I mean, those are just guys I can name off the top of my head. They have a great bullpen, and Lucas Giolito, I think, is a top 10 pitcher in baseball. They still have Dallas Keuchel. They added Lance Lynn. They have Dylan Cease. Michael Kopech is coming up. They still have Ronaldo Nunez. Not Ronaldo Nunez. They have Ronaldo Lopez. What How can you sit here and tell me that the Twins and Indians are better than the White Sox? What? It's just it's the same thing with the Braves. It makes no sense to me at all. It pisses me off. Honestly, it really does. Like, why would they even post these projections? They gotta know how freaking stupid they are. What? I did not expect to get this heated while I was making this video. It's honestly, I wasn't even gonna make it, as I knew a lot of people were talking about it. But then I decided to double upload today. Oh, give me a breather. Alright, so my third problem with these predictions, and it gets a little less heated from here, but still, they have the Oakland Athletics finishing 1 behind the Angels. Sorry, my guy, NMR Sports. And then 2, they have them finishing under 500. Now, I know the Athletics got worse. They lost Liam Hendricks. They lost Marcus Semien. They added Albert Sanders. Oh, they also lost Chris Davis. So I'm not saying that the Athletics are going to be super good, but I think they're going to be fine. I still think they're better than the Angels because of their pitching. Because the Angels don't have any pitching. Matt Olson had a tough year in 2020. I think he'll bounce back. They didn't have Matt Chapman for most of the year. They're going to have him in 2021. Hopefully he comes back. Sean Murphy is a top prospect. They'll have a full year out of him. Like, they still have Jesus Luzardo in the rotation, Chris Bassett, Sean Manaea. They re-signed Mike Fiers. And in the bullpen, they have Paul Blackburn, Lou Trevino. They have Jake Diekman, who had a 9.93 ERA plus last year. I'm just saying, Jake Diekman, super, super good. They also have AJ Puck on the rise as a starter. Like, what? They also have Frankie Montas, who was really good in 2019, I believe. It was either 2018 or 2019. He was really good. But, like, the Angels don't have any pitching. After Dylan Bundy, who's, I think, going to regress a little bit. I don't know how you can expect Dylan Bundy to pitch as good as he did in 2020. And they added Jose Quintana, who's not great. They added Alex Cobb. Again, I'm talking about the Angels now. Those aren't good pitchers. I know they added Raisel Iglesias, but that's not enough. And I know the Angels have Anthony Rendon and Mike Trout. And they added Jose Iglesias. But Jose Iglesias isn't going to be as good as he was in 2020. His BABIP was almost 400. That is not sustainable. BABIP is batting average for balls in play. It's not sustainable. Most people have like a 300 batting average with balls in play. And that's still really good. So you can't sit here and tell me that, 1, the Athletics are worse than the Angels, and 2, that the Athletics are going to finish under 500. It just makes... I just want to know what the... I mean, this is almost worse... This is worse than their top 10 lists right now. Which I can rant about all day long as well. They have Giancarlo Stanton behind Austin Meadows and Tyler Glasnow. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's for a different video. But you can't sit here and tell me that the A's are worse than the Angels and worse than being over 500. Makes no sense to me at all. And my 4th issue with this list is that the Cardinals come in at 3rd behind the Brewers and the Cubs, and the Cardinals finish at 500. Now, I don't think the Cardinals are like a World Series favorite or anything, but I kind of see how they're better than the Cubs and the Brewers. I mean, I know the Brewers have some really good pitching. They have Brandon Woodruff. I think Corbin Burns is going to be a really good starter. Obviously, the Brewers have Josh Hader, Devin Williams, Freddie Peralta in the bullpen. They've got a lot of good arms. And the Cubs, I mean, it would be stupid to say that the Cubs are going to be as bad again as they were in 2021. But the Cubs lost Yu Darvish. They added Zach Davies, but that's not a great pickup. They lost Kyle Schwarber. So the Cubs and the Cardinals the Cardinals are better than the Cubs. The Cardinals have Jack Flaherty, who I think is better than Kyle Hendricks. They also have Miles Michaelis. They re-signed Adam Wainwright. They have Kwang Hyun Kim who was really good after he came over from the Asian leagues last year. They also have Dakota Hudson, and in the bullpen they have Giovanni Gallegos, who had a really good year. They still have Jordan Hicks. They also still have Alex Reyes and Carlos Martinez on the squad. So the pitching is definitely better in the Cardinals' sense. And then Nolan Arenado coming over, possibly the best third baseman of our generation, and team him up with Paul Goldschmidt. They still have Paul DeYoung. I think Dylan Carlson's going to come up and be a stud. So I think it's going to be close, but I don't think the Cardinals are going to be better. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be worse than the Cubs are right now, and I don't really understand how they could even project that. And then the Brewers, they don't have a great offense. They lost Ryan Braun. I know Christian Yelich is going to bounce back, I'm sure. But they really only have Yelich. I mean, after that, their offense definitely takes a big step back. And again, I know the pitching is going to help the Brewers a lot, but you can't sit here and tell me that the Cardinals aren't the favorite in the National League Central. And I know this is just on paper. Projections are projections for a reason. But on paper, like, this still makes no sense. It's like, makes no sense. I thought the issues were going to get less controversial here, but apparently they're not. Like, the Cardinals added the best third baseman in the game in Nolan Arenado, and you can't sit here and tell me that the Coors effect, blah, blah, blah. We've seen DJ LeMahieu come out and be really good. We've seen other players do it. So don't sit here and tell me that. But come on, man. The Cardinals have a decent rotation, and they have a good bullpen, and which is better than the Cubs can say, and the Cardinals' offense is certainly going to be better than the Cubs. So don't know how the Cubs beat the Cardinals at all. I don't see it happening. And then my last problem with this list, Mets fans, don't come at me. I just think the Mets have too many wins in their projections. They have the Mets going 96 and 66. And that's not unfathomable. Sure, like, that could happen. But I just think the NL East is too stacked for them to get that many wins. Like, they're playing in a division where they're obviously really good. The Phillies are pretty good. The Nationals are really good. And the Braves are really good. Like I said, my first rant of the video. And then the Marlins, you know, they are projected to get last place, but they still made the playoffs in 2020, and they're still pretty good. They got a lot of young guys coming up. So that division is just going to pound on each other all year long. It's going to be super fun to watch, but I don't see the Mets coming out on top that many times. I mean, obviously, I know they don't play the NL East in every single game, but it's hard to imagine the Mets winning that division by more than 10 games when 3 other teams are easily playoff potential teams, plus the Marlins not being that bad. So that's my only problem with it. I know the Mets are good. I'm not saying the Mets are bad. They added a lot of pieces. They have a really good rotation. I wouldn't have a problem with it if they did add Trevor Bauer, but they didn't, obviously, even though they still have the best pitcher in the game in Jacob deGrom. They added a franchise player in Francisco Lindor. So I'm not saying the Mets are bad. Again, I don't take it that way. But I don't see them getting almost 100 wins. I don't see them being as good as the Padres. It's mostly because the Padres play in a worse division. The Padres get to play the Diamondbacks and the Rockies and the Giants. And the Mets don't have any of those teams. They don't have that bottom feeder team, and the Padres get to play 3 of them. That's my rant for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have a lot of issues with these predictions. I just think these predictions are horrible, terrible, all of the above, atrocious, what have you. What are the biggest issues that you guys have with this prediction list? Let me know down in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button, as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.